What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal, and today we're going to be going to Palm Beach Island, which is the very high-end version of West Palm Beach on the east side of South Florida. That is where all the billionaires with a B have their houses at. I normally go there to do work for a specific condo building on the water, where every month or two they'll give me a call to basically come clean out a truckload worth of stuff that they've accumulated over time throughout their unit. And today we are going to be going to a house to clean out what sounds to be the assortment of household clutter for a client that found me at a condo building a couple of days ago that I did a job for a organizer, not the one I normally work with. And that job specifically, let's just say it took a lot longer than it needed to pick up a quarter truck worth of empty boxes. It was not a fun time. But one of the residents was driving by me at the time and chit-chatted with me. We exchanged phone numbers, and this is who we're going to now. On the phone, it sounds like he either buys and flips houses, or he buys estates that were maybe abandoned or evicted and sorts through all the stuff to basically sell or trash. That is what it sounds like to me, one of those two, but I'm going to ask him later on because I am genuinely curious. But he was telling me that he normally has guys that kind of just go rent a truck and help him out, but they're not very reliable, and that is something that is constantly being a burden for him and his staff. So that's what he is looking for in me, and that is something that I strongly push for with my clients, is reliability. So if I can lock him in as a repetitive client, because that's what it sounds like it's going to end up being, that would be great on my part. So that is the goal. And I think that this is going to be a pretty good job. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being a full load based on what he was telling me in their past. And in general, I really like the area. Like, it's a super nice area. It's very high and it's quiet. It's not super traffic. I always take the beach route all the way back home because it's just a nice view and it's relaxing. If you've ever seen my videos where I go to that apartment building, then you know that we always travel along the water. It's like a treat. So I am not upset about going there more often. And it's a great place to market to as well, because a lot of places that I've seen out there, I've only really seen 1-800 Got Junk out there. I've never actually seen another junk removal company. There's a ton of landscaping, as you can imagine, but not a lot of junk removal trucks. And I've already had a few places reach out to me in the past, but the problem is that their umbrella policy is ridiculously high, and I don't meet it. But for residential, I can absolutely get in those. So my goal is to work there a little bit more often, and one of my biggest goals since I found out about it is to work in this one specific house. I'll throw up like an aerial view of it. It was actually in the magazine a couple of months ago and on the news. It's called Harpoon Island. You can look this up. It's on its own little private island that has like a little single road driveway that connects to the actual island, and it's just like this giant house that has like this huge like back pool area, and you can either get to the island by boat or you can take this one little single road out. So I always thought it'd be really cool to do like a junk removal there. But yeah, enough of that. I will show you guys the house when we get there, and let's see if we can pull out anything interesting. So as you saw, that job wasn't quite as much as we were expecting. However, when we were inside kind of looking around the place, he had pointed out that there's about 7 pieces of bulky, like old school furniture, like big fabric couches and love seats and armchairs, or sofa chairs, I should say, that the homeowner wants to keep and get cleaned up, and he's like, you should just get rid of it. The goal, essentially, is they need the whole house emptied so electricians can go in and rewire the whole house to put it up to code. Because the house is about 100 years old. And there's a lot of stuff in there. And the homeowner has 3 houses on that street. Keep in mind, these are not cheap houses. So that's what's kind of going on, is they're basically trying to either relocate a lot of stuff to storage, which is what I'm going to be doing on Friday with my helper. And then they need to kind of sort through and get rid of what they don't want, or move things from house to house, so that way they can, do all the work in the house. So that's kind of what's going on. So if we were to include the furniture, it would probably have been a full load, but it sounds like we're probably going to do it on Friday. Now, another fun thing popped up. I had somebody reach out to me this morning who got my number from somebody who I had met from a networking group about a month ago, and I did a small little side job for her. And she runs like a logo store where like they'll customize different types of merchandise with your logo on it. So kind of like Vistaprint, but they're more geared towards merchandise. I don't know how else to explain it. So she had reached out to me, and she's a registered nurse, and she hosts these wellness events every couple of weeks to every month in these different locations. So she said the first event I can go for free and have my own table, and then after that it would be like $250 an event, which isn't a lot for a table event, but I am going to go to this free one because I want to see if it's actually a good turnout, if it's worth like me paying $250 in the future, because the next one is going to be for independent living, which is going to be perfect for me because I've been trying to push for those senior living facilities even more than I already have. So that would be good. But essentially, you're going to have a table set up, all your information, your cards, business cards, flyers, stuff like that. They want you to have like an interactive game. So I thought, what better for junk removal than to have like find an object in a picture, and I was going to find like a cluttered home and pick out like 5 to 10 objects and say, if you can find these 10 objects within 3 minutes, then you'll win a raffle. And whatever that raffle is, they're going to be sending off later on. So I thought that would be kind of fun and, kind of go hand in hand with junk removal. So I had asked her on the phone, I was like, I just wanted to make sure you're familiar. Like, I do junk removal. Like, I'm not like a professional organizer that comes in and like resets somebody's life. And she said, no, you're perfect, because clutter in large scales hurts people just as much as anything else. And that's true. If you ever go into a hoarder house where nobody died, like nobody's selling the house, you just need to go in and clean everything out because they've gotten to a point where it's unhealthy for them to be there. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And she just happened to have gotten my name from somebody I did a job for. So that worked out perfect. So I think it would be a pretty cool event. If it has a good turnout, then I'll definitely consider the one in the future. I think that would be kind of cool for, kind of getting your name out in the community, and it's not as expensive as some of the other ones I've kind of heard about in the past. So I think it'd be pretty good to do. So I'm pretty excited about that. That is July 17th. I think it's only about an hour and a half. Usually they're like 2 to 3 hours. This one's a little bit smaller though, and it's at a clubhouse in a apartment complex. So while I'm there, I'm just going to go market to the property manager and say, hey, my name is Chris with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal. I'm here with the event. I was wondering if you guys have a vendor set up. If not, here's my information. So you might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone there, marketing and advertising. So let me know what you think about which game you would do, and have you ever done something like that before, kind of like for your city or for like a small event organization where you have your own little table booth and you're basically marketing yourself from it. And let me know how it worked out for you. But that is it for now. I will see you guys next time. Bye.